Alrighty, so I got a request for a video on how to acquire SSR pendants, and I know that that can be, you know, very tedious, or, you know, you don't come across a whole lot of them as a newer player, and so we're going to be hopping into that. Obviously, this video is sort of, you know, tailored more towards like newer players, or just, you know, trying to get the information out there if you don't already know. So if you're newer to the game, or you're newer to my channel in general and you haven't subscribed already, feel free to subscribe. I do upload, you know, Grand Cross content every single day. But other than that, let's hop into this thing. So if we actually go over to our inventory and look at the pendant themselves, you can actually click on location, and it will give you a complete list of all of the ways that you can actually obtain the item. Obviously, a lot of these are, you know, event shops, exchange shops, different kinds of things like that. But the big ones for me specifically, obviously, Fort Solgris is going to be the #1 way to get it. I know that that's nothing new. That's pretty much what everybody grinds in there for, is you want to get the event dungeon, you know, SSR pendants, because, you know, that's just the best way to get them. It is a 4% drop chance to get a gold box, and that's how you're going to be getting them. But I know, since you already know that you should, you know, be grinding out Fort Solgris, the biggest thing that I can say that I do personally is every single day I go to my friends list and I send out coins, because getting 2,000 of these coins actually nets you if we go down to the coin shop here at the very bottom, you can see you can actually buy an event dungeon key bundle, and I currently have 8 of them because I buy them every day that I can. If you have a full friends list, or you have close to a full friends list, the more, you know, people you have on your friends list, and you send out the coins, the more you get in return for it. So I definitely recommend just adding more people, trying to get an active, you know, friends list and everything like that, so you can get the most out of that you can, and then you can just try to buy this 2,000 friendship coin bundle every single day if possible, because, you know, this is an extra 3 keys to that event dungeon, and you can just, you know, use those on top of what you already gain every 8 hours. So yeah, every time that the game resets, I do my dailies, and I end up having 3 of them waiting for me because they refresh every 8 hours. And then every once in a while, I'll just throw a couple, or I'll use one of these event dungeon bundles and throw an extra 3, you know, runs in there to try to grab some more. So that is pretty much the biggest way that you can sort of help maximize your Fort Solgris pendants. The other one that I think is pretty helpful is the World Tree, and I say that because if you actually go to Memory of Earth, which is Midgard, and you go to the very top one, if you can skip ticket this or whatever the case may be, you actually have a 3% chance to drop an evolution pendant on this stage, which I know doesn't sound like a lot, but I mean 3%, and then on the, you know, Fort Solgris one, it's only 4%, so it's really not that much worse, and it's just something, I mean, you should be, you know, hopefully grinding this out, and you got to do, I think you have to run it at least 1 time per day for the daily anyway, so, you know, being able to just get some of this stuff out of the exchange shop is also very, very nice. There's even, you know, pendants in the shop if you really need them that bad, but yeah, just making sure that you run Midgard. Unfortunately, if you go over to Heaven, which is Alfheim, they actually don't have pendants on the drop rate over here, so if you're just needing pendants, you know, just run the Earth one, run Midgard. But, you know, I think that one is kind of nice. It's just extra pendants that I end up dropping every once in a while, and I've noticed that, so I do want to mention that specifically. The only other things that you can really do is go to the different kinds of shops. I don't think that the festival shop actually, or the fight festival shop actually has any in there from what I've seen, but I know that the brawl shop does in the warrior category. So after you've donated, I think it's, yeah, once you've donated or bought at least 20 things out of the challenger shop, you can access this one, and you can buy 3 of these before you have to reset the shop to get them again. I actually really do think that brawl is a really good way of getting just extra materials and stuff like that in general. So if you want to start, you know, trying to do brawl, or just trying to at least claim your brawl, you know, coins or whatever the fact is, so that way you can sort of grind on this, because it gives you extra diamonds as well, just so that way you can get a couple of these extra pendants out per week or whatever the case may be. That's honestly not a bad way to go. If you want to, I think it's level 6, if you're in a guild that's at least level 6, you can buy 3 of these for 300 coins a piece. So that's also not a bad way to go. But other than that, those are pretty much going to be the ways that you can actually like buy them or acquire them, other than events. Events are pretty much the only other way to do it. Every event that comes out probably ends up having about 3 of them in the exchange shop, I think. They're pretty stingy with them for some reason. They normally end up making them either a really low drop rate, or they just don't give you a whole lot of them to actually acquire from each shop. So for whatever reason, Netmarble is just trying to, I guess, slow down players from being able to just power up all of their heroes in one go, which is kind of unfortunate. It kind of sucks sometimes if you're really low on them, so I completely understand if you're like frustrated in that aspect. But just making sure the events that are going on, you try to stay on top of those, because, you know, if anything, just try to buy what you actually need out of the exchange shops. King's Upgrade Material Exchange event actually comes out pretty much every time that they do a festival, and they will actually let you exchange, I think it's around, you can exchange SR pendants for SSR pendants. I can't remember exactly how many, like what the actual exchange rate is for it, but you can normally get around like 10 SSR pendants or so from that, which is kind of nice. So if you haven't done that, or you aren't aware of it, make sure that you're doing that every time that it comes around. Just any sort of event that comes out normally has them in it. The spin event right now has, you know, this is the grand prize for, you know, the first page. But yeah, other than that, the only other thing that I can really say is every once in a while they do a village donation event. It will show up in the notices over here. There's not one going on at the moment, but basically what it is it makes it to where you can go to the first 6 towns in the story mode, and you can actually go into the town and donate using the donation box in the town. And if you donate at least 1 million gold per town, you'll get 1 of each pendant per town, so you can get up to 6 SSR pendants from that event specifically. They do run it pretty frequently, I would say, like every few weeks or so. So that's also a pretty decent way, but that's basically it. Unfortunately, there's just not a whole lot of good ways to just get them or just farm them or anything like that. They are also in the exchange shop. I don't recommend you get them out of the exchange shop, because 1 SSR coin for a pendant is a terrible value. You can use that for either Super Awakening coin or Super Awakening, or you can use it for, you know, powering up your ultimate for that character. So not a good value there. If you're really, really desperate, you can do 10 gold coins, but I would also recommend that you either run the gold coin dungeon with your gold coins, or you use them for Super Awakening as well. So I would say stay away from that if possible, but I understand that sometimes you get desperate, you really want to, you know, upgrade a new character that comes out or whatever, and you're just really low on them. So do what you got to do, but you know, if you try to stay on top of some of the other ways of grinding them, hopefully you can sort of start saving them up and not have to worry about them as much. Try to avoid upgrading characters that you're not going to really use as much, so that way you can, you know, try to stockpile them for, you know, when new characters come out and everything like that. But it's just kind of a weird thing. I've always had a really big problem with the way that they distribute SSR pendants. I mean, you've probably seen that I have a pretty decent amount of them at the moment, but it's just because I basically don't power up any of the old characters in this game. They're just not really that good, and they're not worth upgrading in most aspects. So I try to save them for new characters that come out, or if there ends up being a character that becomes good for something and I already have them, I'll try to upgrade them at some point. Or if I'm sitting on a whole bunch of extra ones, I'll try to find a character that I think could be useful, and I'll power them up then. So I try to be stingy with them, because I know that Netmarble is stingy with them, and it pays off most of the time. So that is pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully this was helpful. If you have any other ways of getting them, or any sort of information on that sort of topic, feel free to leave a comment down below. Like I said in the beginning, if you haven't subscribed or anything like that, feel free to. I do upload every single day, but that is pretty much it for me. So thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the next one.